head to head, the Husqvarna 550 XP Mark II against the Stihl MS261C. I'm sorry guys, we're not gonna run these today, but we're gonna real quickly just peek at these two commercial machines, professional 50cc chainsaws, right? So we're talking about the Stihl MS261, it's coming in right around 50 cc's and is putting out 4 horsepower. And as well as the Husqvarna 550 XP, again coming in right about 50 cc's and putting out 4 horsepower. And guess what? They weigh almost the same amount, right? So they know, right? These Stihl guys, these Husqvarna guys, they know what their competition is. They're looking into it. How can we compete? What makes us different? How are we gonna be better? And so what is right for you? I don't know, that's a tough thing to answer. Number 1 and number 2 worldwide. Number 1 and number 2 nation in different nations. Number 1 and number 2 in different regions. So first of all, I think the most important answer to that question is who's your dealer? Is there a good dealer in your area for Stihl? If not, then Husqvarna might be the right machine. Is there a good Husqvarna dealership in your area that's going to stand behind it and take care of it? If not, then Stihl might be the right machine. So that I think is of the most importance. I don't think you're going to get hooped between either one of these products. They're both awesome. They're both made to be out in the woods working hard every day. But we need you to get somebody to stand behind you and take care of it. So let's real quickly look at a few of the basics of these machines, some of the differences that we can point out. It's going to be a little challenging because they each push each other to be similar, to keep one-upping each other. Let's start on this side right here. The Husqvarna has a primer, the Stihl does not. So as a general rule, this Husqvarna chainsaw is actually going to start easier because when I pump this primer and I pump the fuel up to the carburetor and I put it on choke, generally on the first pull, it's going to pop, it's going to fire. And then I'm going to take it off choke and I'm going to pull the rope again and it's going to start. So I say a Husqvarna usually is started on 2 pulls, maybe 3. On the Stihl, no primer. I'm simply going to push this all the way down to the, we'll call it choke. It's not a choke position. Stihl calls it a start position now. On certain models, not all, but on this model, the professional model chainsaws, they have a start position. And on this saw, I'm generally going to pull it 2 to 3 times till it pops, fires, and then it's starting on that next pull. So I'd say this is a 3 to 4 pull. So a little bit more on the pulls of the Stihl. Stihl does have a compression release. They used to have one on this saw, the 550, they got rid of it. I don't know why, I think they must have figured, you know, it's a 50cc chainsaw, you can yank the rope, you'll be fine. Advantage of the compression release is it's gonna make it easier to pull. I don't know if you can hear that air moving past this decompression valve. Let's do it out here. Okay, I have to pull this rope harder than that, but that's just showing you how it changes the pull characteristics with compression release or decompression valve. On this guy, okay, so I've got to rip it fast, hard, rock it. There we go. Okay, so a little easier starting out of the Husqvarna. Both of them return to run. So when I shut the Stihl off, it returns to run. When I shut the Husqvarna off, it returns to run. So they've copied each other in that regards. Both of them have what should be a toolless fuel cap, right? Over the years, fuel caps have gotten better, or some people say worse. A lot of hate on the Stihl fuel caps, oil caps. But back in the day, we a lot of times had to go find our bar wrench in order to remove the oil or fuel cap. On the Stihl, I simply flip up and I give it a half a turn and out it comes. Same with on the bar oil here on the front. And on the Husqvarna, I simply flip up and now I've actually got something that I can hold and I unscrew the whole cap, just like a traditional cap would be. It's not a quarter or half turn like the Stihl. So, similar there. Is this better? Is this better? You tell me. I'd love to see your comments down below. Air filtration. For years, Husqvarna has had, I don't think they use the terminology anymore, but air injection. And way back, early 90s, that was a term they put on the side of the chainsaws, air injection. And what that meant was there was sort of a pre-filtration system that happened to the burning air. So all of the burning air, all of the air that's going to go through the air filter, through the carburetor, into the cylinder, comes over the flywheel. Okay, so past the starter, over the flywheel, and then as that centrifugal force is spinning, the heavy, dirty air, the air with chips and particles in it, is expelled out the bottom, is expelled, and the cleaner air, pre-filtered air, is pushed up into the air box by the air filter. So think of being on a merry-go-round, right? You've been on a merry-go-round, and as it spins faster, you're pulled out towards the outsides because you have some mass, you have some weight behind you. We won't get into that right now, but you get the theory. So air injection is what Husqvarna has had for years. Guess what? Stihl has it. To get into the Husqvarna air filter, simply click these little tabs here, open, and off comes the cover. On the Stihl, I'm going to need my bar wrench, and I'm actually just going to give these screw heads a quarter turn. So, I don't know, is that easier? Is this easier? Pretty similar. All right, let's look at these air filters. Husqvarna, it's held on with a little wing knob of sorts, and there's my air filter. It's a pleated felt filter. Stihl screws on, half a turn, and out comes their cylinder. So I would say filtration capacity, Stihl's got the win there. Both of them nice rubber lined on the inside to stop dirt from going past it. Critical, right? These things are moving a ton of air through them in an hour, and we want to keep dirt out of those cylinders because that's what wrecks them. Spark plug, both are at sort of this angled incline here. Both of them have reduced the size of the spark plug to increase the head size, to decrease the temperature of the head. Something kind of small there, worth pointing out. Here's a difference that I think is worth pointing out. And that's kind of the way the whole chain tensioning system. I'm using the Stihl bar wrench, it works on both. So first of all, on the Husqvarna, I always want to make sure that the brake is off. So pull the brake all the way back. Here's my bar nuts, and they use the 13 millimeter bar nuts. Bar nuts loose, cover off, okay? Captive bar nuts, can't lose them. They're part of the cover here. My chain tensioner on the Husqvarna is built into the cover, okay? So I find it personally a little bit challenging when I go to put the cover on to line this adjuster pin up with the proper hole in the bar, okay? That's a slowdown for certain people, especially if you're used to the Stihl way of doing things. Let's take this off. And Stihl uses a larger bar nut. 17 millimeter, yes. Somebody that was really strong. Don't tighten your bar nuts so much, guys. That can do damage to yourself. They need to be tight. Both the Stihl and the Husqvarna are captive bar nuts. You're not gonna lose them. They're not gonna fall off. Okay, off comes the cover. Again, not gonna lose that. But what I want to point out is on the Stihl, the chain tensioner is in the body of the saw. So it's much easier to just pop the bar onto that tensioner and good to go. One other thing you'll notice, flip this around, and then I'll turn it so you guys can see. Sorry, not to hide anything from you. Take the chain. You see how easy that Stihl bar came off and chain? Okay, Husqvarna uses an inboard sprocket and an external clutch, outboard clutch. Stihl uses an outboard sprocket and an internal clutch. A little bit easier to put the bar and chain on, easier to replace the sprocket as it wears. Husqvarna says we're moving heat, clutches are hot, away from the engine, therefore increasing the life of the engine. They're both true, they're both right. Which one is better for you? You'll get used to it, it's just a little bit of a stumbling block for some people. And on the Husqvarna, my brake is built into the cover. And I do see people you think back about a minute or two ago, I said, always, 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 always unclick the brake before you take the cover off. I'll see people have the brake engaged, fight the cover off, and the brake band drops down, and I now can't get it back over the clutch drum. Okay? So that can be a problem that happens in the field and slows you down. All right, similar power. We know the life's going to be good out of both of these machines. Both of them have some electronics built into them to give them the most power and performance. It's adjusting the ignition and the carburation as you cut to keep you at the top end of your performance. So as that air filter gets dirty, the Stihl and the Husqvarna both adjust the air ratio. As that chain gets dull and it's working a little harder, it advances the ignition to keep it moving and cutting faster. So there you go, the two professional chainsaws, MS261, 550 XP. Which one's right for you? You got a little bit better idea. We look forward to seeing you soon at Carl's Mower and Saw. Let us hook you up with the right saw for your trees, for your property. We'll see you soon. Hey, this is Josh from Carl's Mower and Saw. Thanks for watching our videos. We're proud of the fact that we've been serving you with the best in outdoor power equipment since 1990. We're glad that you had an opportunity to sit down, watch our videos, learn something about an exciting new product that we have, something that interests you for your property, or really how to use your equipment to the best of its ability. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. We're excited to share more information with you. See you soon.